Princess Alera lived in a palace of marble and silence, where every hallway seemed polished for ceremony, and every decision was polished just as carefully. She was clever, patient, and known for speaking only after she had watched a room long enough to understand it. Yet behind her calm face, she felt trapped by duties that had been chosen for her before she could choose anything for herself. One morning, while walking alone in the East Garden, Alera found a bird perched on a throne of ivy. It was no larger than a sparrow, but its feathers shone like molten sunlight. When it turned its head, the garden trees seemed to brighten around it. The bird looked at her with round, intelligent eyes and sang one clear note that made the fountain water tremble. Alera laughed softly, thinking it a trick of the morning light, until the bird dropped a single gold feather into her palm. The feather was warm and heavy, real as coin, but light as a promise. Before she could call for help, the bird flew toward the old tower at the edge of the palace grounds, a place sealed for years because no one could agree what was stored inside. Curiosity overcame caution. Alera followed. Inside the tower she found dust, narrow stairs, and a locked chamber hidden beneath a hanging curtain. The golden bird waited on the keyhole, then vanished through a crack in the stone. Alera opened the door and discovered shelves of maps, weather charts, and notebooks written in her grandmother's hand. The pages told of a drought that had once nearly emptied the kingdom's wells, and of a forgotten system of hidden cisterns beneath the palace garden. The last note warned that the royal reservoir would fail again if the storm canals were not cleaned before the next turn of the season. Alera understood at once why the tower had been sealed. The old council had buried the truth because repairs were costly, and admitting the danger would have exposed their failure. She carried the notebooks to the chamberlain, and demanded the council's counselors gather at dawn. They arrived expecting another ceremonial speech. Instead, Alera laid the maps on the table, named every blocked canal, and pointed to the water clock that had been losing pace for weeks. Some advisors protested, but the old records matched the cracks now spreading through the palace gardens. The chamber went quiet. That night, with lanterns and laborers and Alera at the front, they cleared mud from the canals until sunrise painted the palace roofs pink. As the final gate opened, cold water rushed through the hidden channels and into the dry fountains. The kingdom's wells steadied. The gardens drank deeply. The people in the lower city, who had feared another dry season, began to cheer when the fountains sang again. At noon the golden bird returned and landed on Alera's wrist. She understood then that it had not come to reward her, but to test whether she would notice what others preferred to ignore. On its breast shimmered a tiny mark shaped like a crown inside a circle of flame. Her advisors waited for praise, but Alera looked instead at the tower and the garden and the long road beyond the palace gates.